Hi, I'm Jack Slocum with Option Alpha. Today we're going to be going over a few different betting strategies that we can use as options traders that can potentially extend our winnings beyond just placing the same flat bet every time. As you see here, the difference in the results can be pretty drastic. Before we go over these back tests and update my bots, let's go ahead and take a look at the bots that I do currently have trading. If you've been following along in this video series, it's been a bit of an up and down journey. But one bot that I started up a couple videos ago specifically for this volatile market that we're in today is this Vol Capture 2 p.m. If you didn't get an opportunity to see the video where I created this bot, I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. There will also be a link to this bot in the description of the video that will link you straight into Option Alpha, where you can clone this bot and try it for yourself, perhaps customize it based on some of the settings that we're looking at in a little bit. But this bot's basic premise is what it's doing is it's opening an iron condor that is outside of the current expected move, $5 more, and then the wings are $5 beyond that. And then it holds it until the end of the day at expiration, hoping to take in 100% of the credit. So if we take a look at how it's been doing, one of the things that I noticed, and this is why we're going to talk about these betting strategies, is I noticed it's pretty streaky. If you look here, it won 3 in a row, then it lost 2 in a row. And notice the losses are much bigger than the wins, double. So 2 in a row did not feel good. So I won about 900 here, and then as you see, it lost 2, went down in the hole, and then started to climb back with a few winners. But then it went on this winning streak, which was pretty awesome. Then it took another big loss, and then once again, it started on a winning streak. And because it's pretty streaky, I was wondering if I was to employ one of the betting strategies I used to use when I went to the casino, would it possibly help this bot to be more profitable? And so that led me down a path where we added some of these different betting strategies to our 0DTE backtester, and the results were very promising. I will be updating that bot here in a moment. But if we take a look here, you can see the original backtest that I started the bot from is right here. And it made a total of 4,800 profit. It only trades, so just to give you a refresher on this bot only trades when the VIX is above 25. So it's specifically designed for high volatile environments. Doesn't trade very often. There have only been a few times in the past 3 years where the market has been above 25 VIX. So it has a total of 114 trades in the original back test. And then in test number 2 here, the only thing I changed was I changed it to use a 33% reward risk filter. And I'm currently trading 2 contracts in these 2 tests. So by adding a 33% reward risk filter, what that meant was it takes in at least a $250 credit for every $750 that it risks. So that alone, just adding the 33% reward risk filter, if you look, it almost doubled the profit of the test over the past 3 years, and it reduced the drawdown pretty significantly down to $1,500. But the more interesting is test C here, which is where I added in a negative progression strategy called the martingale, and it's a little bit of a variant because I'm not doubling every single trade that I'm making. But if you've ever played blackjack, kind of the idea here is that if you lose, you double your bet, and if you lose again, you double your bet again in that process. I'm not going to be doubling every single time, but what I did do was make it so that it's risking a total max of $750, again, 2 contracts when it's a 33% reward risk ratio. And if it loses 2 in a row, then it doubles and goes to $1,500 to try to recapture what it lost. And if you look, kind of the idea behind this is that the number of losses it had in a row over that 3-year period was typically pretty low. It had 3 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So when the reward risk ratio was 33% or better, it actually only lost 2 times in a row. So when I set up that negative progression strategy, it quickly recovers what it lost in 1 trade or 2 trades after that. And if you look, the total drawdown actually from the original back test that I started this bot from was half. So it required half as much capital, and it made 2.5 times as much money as the original backtest. Obviously, part of that is from the 33% reward risk filter, but if you look even against the original backtest from 33% reward risk filter, it's still doing significantly better. However, if you look here, look at the win streaks. The most win streak was 12, and when we looked at my bot, you saw it also had some pretty long win streaks. So what I wanted to see was what happens if we set up some type of progression strategy where it bets positive progression based on winning. So this way, after it wins a few positions, then it increases the position size and starts betting more. So what I set up here as well was a positive progression strategy. Every time it wins 2 positions, it increases its bet $750. Now on both of these, the maximum amount of that is $1,500. So it starts off risking $750. And then if it wins 2 in a row, it increases and starts risking $1,500. And it stays at $1,500 until it loses. And if you look, it made $14,000 off of the same exact numbers here. If you look, these numbers right here, these last 3 are with the 33% reward risk ratio. Has the exact same win rate, has the exact same number of wins and losses. However, the difference in P&L is pretty significant. So the original one had 8,800, but by employing this positive progression strategy, it actually made 14,000 off of the same amount of capital. Well, a little bit different. If you look at the drawdown here, this one had a drawdown of 2,300. So I originally started the bot, it had a max drawdown of 2,600, and now it's only risking 2,300. And in the original back test, it only made 4,800, and in the new one, it's making more than triple that at 14,272. So we'll scroll down, I'll show you some more of these stats here, but basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna come over here to the bot itself. We're gonna go to the settings for the bot. I'm gonna click on the entry scanner. I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna update this position size. I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna say progress the risk from $750 to $1,500. And I'm gonna double after every 2 consecutive wins. Then I'm gonna save, and boom. This bot is gonna start trading using that new progression strategy, and we'll see how it does. So I just wanna say this progression strategy and these new features is not live quite yet on the platform. It will be going live though next Monday on Cinco de Mayo, so make sure you take a look at Option Alpha. So that's it for today's video. On behalf of the Option Alpha team, we love you guys and God bless.